And I'm going to press the button again. Are you ready?
Yep.
It's the Wednesday show. Yay! And there we have it, Mrs. Ryan.
Awesome.
We are back. Oh, sort of. There we go. And we've got somebody we have to impress today. So, the pressure's on, the pressure's on.
How it works, man.
He's in the other room. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Today is Wednesday, July 31st, 2019. My name is Jay Ryan. This is Nicole Ryan. We are the Ryans. This is It's Tonight's Show. Our guest this evening is Mark LONOW. There's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about with him, but so far he's been a handful. I'll just say that. Can't wait. He's going to have this host on his toes for sure, and I think Mrs. Ryan, he might be a little nicer to you.
Who knows? His voice reminds me of one of my favorite people,
Who's
Louis
that?
Black. So,
well, wait a second. Now, the little research I did, was that they work together.
Yeah, so I can't wait to talk to him about that because it's all I hear in my head.
I don't hear the voice, but now that you mentioned it, certainly the things that are being said, I feel like perhaps at some point he may have been the voice of Louis Black.
Correct. The tone is very similar.
I love it. Okay, well, for everybody else, welcome back to a nice top of show here. We made some screw-ups, whatever. Here, this is where brevity takes over. Whatever. Some stuff you didn't see yesterday, you're going to see right now. Mrs. Ryan, how was your weekend?
Awesome. The weekend was lovely to see everyone.
Yeah, it was. It was a great weekend. We left you previously. We had Breakfast Club on Friday, and it was absolutely wonderful. We have a video to play about it, but we came home to some pretty rotten news, and that was that one of our good driving friends, a fellow Breakfast Clubber, Derek T., had passed away, and it just sort of took everybody by surprise, just gutted us. He was a young guy, 25, I think, 24, 25, something like that, and a hell of a driver, had a hell of a future in front of him. And, life is what it is, full of mysteries, and we love you, pal. We miss you, pal. That's it's a shitty thing. I'm almost glad that all got lost yesterday because I'd rather cover it with a little less emotion.
Yeah, same. That's a good way to look at it.
But with that, we had a lovely weekend. Despite that news, Saturday we had a fantastic Porsche barbecue, and we need to thank Daria and Michael Montijo, as well as the kids and the rest of the hosts of that family. Fantastic time, right?
Such
great
a good
food,
time.
Great company.
Great company.
Great
We all
cars,
needed
obviously.
it, and so it was so nice to have a place to already plan to go.
Yeah, it was wild to have that on the books the day after finding out our friend suddenly died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was weird. It was like, we would have all probably would have wanted to get together anyway, and yet we wouldn't have done it. We all would have been home doing our own things, and it was just, to have that community was really, really nice.
It was fantastic.
Thank
you.
Thank you. And then the rest of the weekend was great. We had Cars and Coffee Los Angeles, and there was more stuff, but blowing through it. Brevity, Mrs. Ryan. I have a video for Breakfast Club. Do you want to watch it?
Yes, please.
All right. Here we go here. This is from Friday of last week. Roll it out.
I was actually on my way. My brother lives in the West Orange. And bacon.
Yeah.
You know the drill.
Yes, I do.
All good.
I think that's my. So like I've never used it. So like 12 years, 15 years ago, I started making this stuff.
There you go. That looks like Guard's Rad drove it.
I was gonna say where's the
74 Duck. Well, there you go. How you doing, Mrs. Ryan?
That was so nice. I'm not crying.
Less
as
tears
much as
today.
Yesterday.
Less tears. That's good.
Yeah.
We love you, Derek. But that was a great time up at Breakfast Club. Now, Mrs. Ryan, I've got some East Coast feeds that we have to blow through because we have more to do tomorrow as well. So I have 3 I have to get through. They're all extremely brief.
Okay.
They
Let's
all
see.
take place at Ridgefield BMW. There's a bunch of stuff going on at Ridgefield BMW. Some
Can't
hijinks. All right, let's check in. Take a look. East Coast feed, Danbury Chive. Checking in at Ridgefield BMW. Roll it, Hal.
Mr. and Mrs. Ryan, good morning. Steve Kaz reporting live East Coast feed. I'm walking through the parking lot like I do every day, about to pull a car up, and I come across this. What would you think you see when you see this right behind me? Bouncy house? We have a fucking bouncy house at work? A little weird. Last I checked, looks like a bouncy house. Not a bouncy house though, right? Yeah, no, no bouncy houses at BMW. Apparently they're gonna be doing some paint work in there, but looks like a bouncy house. It's fucking strange. The weirdest shit you find here. Love you guys.
All right, straight back to BMW.
Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Ryan. Steve Kaz reporting East Coast feed, coming to you live first thing in the morning before 7 a.m. on a Friday. You can start your day off wonderful when they drop off this car, right back there, with a tow truck. And the tow truck driver gets a little too close and does this. Yeah, that's not going to bump out.
Whoops.
It looks pretty fucking bad. So happy Friday, everybody. It's going to be a good day. All right, later.
Oh, jeez. There we go. All right. Now, I have one more. This one's my favorite.
Oh gosh.
I didn't know. This, to me, says the future. Roll it, Hal.
So we're sitting here live in a car with the geniuses because we have an issue with one of our 5 Series loaner cars. Can you show them what it is? Can we show them on the can we pull it up here? It looks like we have right here, that one. It's porn. Yeah, porn. There's porn on our dashboard. We don't know how it happened, but apparently someone hacked into the car. God, I love this. It's so much fun. Car business, everybody. Gotta love it. I know it's not Porsche, but we have some fun at BMW too.
How about that?
Oh, boys and their toys. That is so aggressive.
Somebody hacked a service loaner to play porn, like in the in the hard drive of the computer of the thing.
Where the maps are.
I mean, really. I don't know. This is the future, though. I mean, if these things are if all the cars are computers and computers are hackable, I mean, this is what we have to deal with.
Yeah,
now.
no more pop-ups.
No more
It's just
screens.
gonna
I'm
be in your
over it.
car.
I'm over it. Over it. Like our
That's
guest, I'm going to
crazy.
walk everywhere. All right, Mrs. Ryan, that's everything I have. I've moved through everything. It's time to ask the
was
question
good.
that's on everyone's mind.
Dun, 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 dun.
What's going on, Mrs. Ryan? Dun, 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 dun.
J Lo got a Porsche for her 50th birthday.
Holy crap.
Thanks to
Holy
A-Rod.
crap. One, I didn't know she was 50. How's that?
Right.
J-Lo's 50. That's the news. And then she
Yeah.
got a Porsche? What'd she get?
A 2019 911 GTS.
Oh, okay.
Red.
Nice.
That's fast, yeah. It's the new.
Right down the middle, sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
they're
was-
all fast. You know that.
Yeah,
Our old
yeah.
car's fast.
As I was saying that, I was like, duh. But it's like, she apparently hasn't driven in 25 years. So her big takeaway is that A-Rod
This is
gave
what
her
we're
her
doing.
independence back
Oh, that's
with a
sweet.
Porsche. So I, of course, high five.
Right, because she couldn't previously have a vehicle, right? Couldn't afford one? Is that what it is?
Yeah. She was broke.
Oh, I see. All
No,
right. Well,
she
good.
just didn't drive herself. She didn't
Yeah,
like
I'm sure
to.
American Idol was giving her cars, and I'm sure everybody else. You know what I'm saying? But you know when we used to do that stuff,
Yeah.
everybody's got drivers.
So now she has a Porsche. She
Nice.
likes it.
Congrats, J-Lo. And what's the guy?
Congrats.
A-Rod?
A-Rod.
A-Rod and J-Lo.
Yeah. And they made
Halo.
license plates in Florida for her that said
What is
J-Lo.
their thing? Remember, it was like, I don't remember what it was when she was with Mark Anthony, but what is their thing?
J-Rod or something
Oh,
weird.
it's J-Rod.
Something gross. Something weird.
It's my nickname. No, just kidding. All right. I thought Alo. Like, Alo.
No. I don't think so.
Go ahead.
The new thing is, today's my day for that. The new thing is vaporizing trash.
Okay.
It's not to get rid of recyclables and combustibles and all that, but
Why else would we do it?
well, the reasoning that they're saying is that it's for everything else. It's 4,000 degrees and they only inject steam like they do to make steel. So they're using it to make clean fuel and all that stuff.
Okay.
Bill Gates is involved. I think it sounds neat. I'm not
actually
sure
kinda
about
trust
it.
him. He's a smart fella. I just finally
Same.
watched the Melinda Gates Letterman, whatever the Letterman show is. My next guest needs no introduction.
Oh.
Just watched that last night. It's quite good. Bill's in it as well.
Oh, I want
As is this set right here. This set, exactly what we're looking at, is also in that episode.
Well,
When Bill Gates was sitting at it when he was on the show in the 90s.
well, good for them. Okay. I'm going to be quick and cut out the last one. But this great story that I read about, everyone asks me all the time. They think we're madly in love, and of course we are.
Well, yes. I mean, yes, but yes, of course. But
Love
the
is-
Instagram that people see is not every day. I mean, we're a married couple. We love each other very much, but of course there are issues. There are days.
There are days and things, and so everyone wants a quick fix. Like they want to be set up with, like, given someone. And it's like, here's the thing. I think that sounds nice, but the real way to find love is knowing yourself and knowing the work that's going to have to go into it. So being open to things is
Open
kind
mind
of
goes
the
a
name
long
of the
way.
game. And so this woman it started in Portugal. They were on vacation, this couple, and her name's Anna and his name's Sean. But he's from Boston and she was living in Portugal. And within a year, they were both living in Boston by happenstance. And they ended up getting married.
Oh, wow.
And so it's the work that goes into like long distance and figuring things out, like priorities, what's important. And so this story was awesome.
Another interesting tidbit for us is that we didn't start here. We didn't start madly in love. I mean, like most people, that's how it starts. Oh, you get the puppy love and then the honeymoon period and all that stuff. Like we didn't have that. We were sort of like, this will make sense one day. Let's do it.
Yeah.
We're both broken and busted and totally damaged right now, but someday we're going to work through our shit and this is going to work.
We're going to be
And
so
that's
happy
kinda-
together.
Yeah. And a decade later and a shit ton of work, that's where we've gotten. So I don't know. I mean, there is no quick way for anything in life. You have to do the work. And that to me is what part of the show is all about. It's like, you got to do the work.
Yeah, that's what stuck out to me about that story. Her flight got canceled, and instead of being curmudgeonly and like bitchy about it, she ended up finding love and
Bravo.
marrying this dude. So
Bravo.
it's
What's her name?
everywhere. Anna.
Anna and Sean from Portugal.
Boston
Oh,
now.
that's right. Okay.
Enjoy.
Oh, and that's been What's Going On, Mrs. Ryan. All right, I have one more thing before we break, and it's going to be brief, but
Okay.
gotta mention it because it's time. Mrs. Ryan,
It's
can you
time.
hand me the Sharpie that's... Oh, never mind, I have it right here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
We did this yesterday, I forgot. It's time for Dave Watch. That's right. It's official. We mentioned last week that we are going after David Letterman as a guest on this program. And today is the 31st, and that denotes another day of not hearing from Dave.
Yeah.
It's only been a week, but I will tell you that we're going to stay up on this, and we're going to do it every damn day until it happens.
Every day.
The Letterman show back in the old days, in the 80s, they did this with Donahue, and then in the 90s or
And-
maybe 2000s, they did it with Oprah.
Oprah.
So I'm just pulling a move out of their own playbook.
It's great.
Eventually it will work.
I think so too, and I'm going to personally. You're the one I'm going to go after.
He's the only one we know.
That knows Dave,
you
and
go.
it's the way to do it, man. Calling all cars, I think I said.
Calling all cars. All right, so that's it. Mrs. Ryan, time to take a break.
Yeah.
Get our guest in here, Mark LONOW, who's been sitting very, very patiently after walking to Starbucks to get a coffee. I can't wait to talk about that. In a few more minutes, Mark LONOW will be sitting in that chair right there. More to come right after this.
Major camera.
Oh, yeah, right. Major.
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 digital.
That's right. It's the future.
It is definitely the future.
Holy cow. Well, let's do it. We're sitting here with Mark LONOW. How are you,
Well,
Mark?
first of all, it's Mark LONOW.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
I am. That's the end of my career.
Well, it's the end of my interview, maybe.
It could be. I just got to tell you something. So I'm sitting out in the living room, the lobby, whatever you want to call it, and I noticed the screen has incredibly great visuals, very calming.
Yes.
And you want this show to be funny.
Oh, really?
Really, I only fell asleep once.
Good.
It was after they were. Where were we, in Dubai?
There was a Dubai one, probably. They're the Apple TV screensavers that you were looking at.
Oh, is that
it's nothing that we created. It's just what the TV
Well,
does when it's
I didn't
when it's
think
static.
you did the fly over the earth.
I'm a drone pilot as well.
I got it. I went, wow, he's quite a flyer.
Now you know.
He's really spacey. Is really what it is.
All right. Well, starting with mispronouncing your name, what else should we know about you that I've gotten wrong thus far?
Very little.
Okay.
Except I didn't go to Starbucks.
Oh.
Coffee bean.
Oh my
Thank
goodness
you,
gracious.
Coffee Bean. Mrs. Ryan sent me left and right rather than left and left. Right?
It's walkable. The one near Bob's is not.
But you do know we're in the valley.
Yeah.
And you do know the heat in the valley.
Yes.
And I, because it's such a formal show, put a jacket on. I walked 3 blocks. What is it, 107 outside
It
now?
might be close to it.
Yeah, very close. So anyway, I won't need a shower. I'll just need a little soap.
But there you go.
Yeah. All
Works
right.
out.
All right. So now that we have the correct coffee establishment,
Yes.
that was important. I know for sure. I want to find out why you're here today because I've mispronounced your name. And when I looked you up, because some information was given to me, obviously, you should be sitting in this chair, not me. So I don't know where to even begin. How about comedy? How'd you get into comedy? Can we start with that?
That was a mistake.
Okay.
And
Doing it or asking the question?
Both.
Okay.
No, I started out as an actor. I snuck into HB Studio.
What's HB?
Herbert Berghoff Uta Hagen,
Okay.
120 Bank Street in New York. I was 11 years old,
Holy shit.
and you had to be 13.
To work?
No, to get into the school because that was the teenage class.
Oh, I see, I
So
see.
I lied, and then my mom backed me up. The one good thing she did for me, she backed me up. So I got in, and the first show I did was Elaine May's Name of a Soup, which is, you're not going to remember, directed by Bill Hickey.
Okay.
And
Was Elaine May's later part of a comedy duo?
yeah, it was Nichols and May.
Right.
You remember them? You're too young. To
No,
remember.
I don't remember them. We had a guest here, Kathy Ladman, who said that they were
Kathy
they were
Ladman
very
just
inspirational.
starred in the show my wife and I wrote.
Then this is all coming around. She's the
Jews-
one that said I should look them up, and I did, and their material's fantastic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sure. Jews, Christians, and Screwing Stalin. We just did that show with Kathy Ladman as the grandmother
Love her.
at the Matrix on Melrose.
Nice.
4 or 5 months ago.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we
I didn't know that
wrote
was
it. I
yours.
directed it. Yeah, it was really good. We got some great reviews, and Kathy's fantastic.
Agreed.
Yeah, I
Really
love that
great.
lady.
She's a funny lady. And anyway, so I was in that show, and then from there I started to do a little work. It was a workshop, a writer's workshop, and
But
then
you're learning at 11 years old.
yes, and then I went to. I started to audition. I was 18. I was going to say 17, but that would be a lie. I was 18 years old, and I auditioned for a place called Totem Pole Playhouse for an apprentice. I knew nothing. I come from Coney Island, Brighton Beach, as
Oh, wow.
south Brooklyn as you can get. A little bit more south, you're in the ocean.
Yeah, I was going to say you're wet.
Yeah, you're wet. That's correct. Anyway, so I auditioned. Jean Stapleton was the wife of the man who ran it, Bill Putch, and
Now, I always get them confused. Was she Edith or was she the sister?
No, she was
Maureen Edith.
Yeah.
No.
She
that's
was
right.
Edith.
Oh, okay, she was.
Yeah, she
okay.
was Edith.
Great.
And well, she was in a gazillion things on Broadway.
Of course.
And
Incredibly
so she
talented.
said, "You are really great. You got the job." I'm 17 years old.
Great.
See, I lied again.
It was 18, I thought.
18,
I
right?
thought.
And I went, "Oh, fantastic!" And then she said, "And I'm sure you know it's $100 a week."
And I said, "Oh, fantastic! I could make it $100 a week." It's fine. No, she said, "No, you pay us."
Oh, it was pay to
And
play.
this is a kid
What year is this?
from
Holy
Brighton
smokes.
Fifth Street, and I went, "No, apprentice." I went for an apprentice in legit theater. I said, "Oh, I got it. I have to pay you." Yes. I can't do that. Thank you. And I left, crying
Yeah.
out into the hinterlands on the subway, all the way back to the house. Got to the house, and my grandmother actually brought me up, which is a whole other story. And my grandmother said, with a very heavy accent, "Someone called." And I called him back, and it was Jean, and she said, "We've decided to pay you the $100."
Whoa.
Whoa.
So that was my first job.
So you went for an apprenticeship. You left with a scholarship.
I left with well, I guess it was a scholarship, yeah. And I worked there a couple of years. And actually, their kids are John Paul Putch, which I love the name. How they got around the apprenticeship, the situation of paying was I had to do things outside to earn the money.
Okay.
So I babysat for their kids. And so it was John Paul Putch and Pamela Putch, who's vice president of CBS now.
Holy smokes.
And
Whoa.
John Paul Putch, who was a director.
Wow.
Really great people. So
Oh, that's wild.
so that's how I started in show business. That was the original question.
Sure, how
I
you got
don't-
into comedy, but that's even better.
Well, yeah, I don't remember that well. So 2 or 3 minutes go by, fading. So anyway, so that was the first one, and then through auditions and through being in school and so on, I did Equity Library Theater on Broadway, and I did all kinds of work. And then my wife and I met my wife at the studio. We formed an improv group called Off the Wall, not to be confused with the Off the Wall here. And our partner was Henry Winkler.
Oh, another
Love
local.
that guy.
For
Yeah,
a
we
good
do
little,
too.
good, I don't know, 3 or 4 years.
Was he?
and-
Do you know him currently?
Well,
Was he the same
don't-
back then? I wanna
I'm
know if
not
he
that forgetful.
He's one of our absolute favorite people in the world.
Okay.
And I'm curious if he was always. We almost think he's magic. We almost wonder if he was that way the whole time.
We've met
I
him
don't know.
recently.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
know
just
magic.
incredibly kind and warm and an energy that I hadn't
Yes.
felt around other people.
Yes,
Yeah.
there is a warmth about Henry. Yes, but we never replaced people. So we had this 8 group.
Just got
We
bigger
were
and bigger?
very it got smaller and smaller. So it went from 8 to 7 to 6 to 5 to 4. Finally, it was 3.
Oh, I see. Because people would leave,
They would
and then but
leave,
you
they'd
wouldn't.
get jobs.
I see.
And me and my wife and Henry
Sure.
for a while would hang out and we'd look around. We go, "Whoop, okay, we got more stage time, more stage time." And then, so it wound up to be 3 of us. Henry left to do the Fonz. Well, actually, to just go to Hollywood, and we replaced him with a guy named Jeffrey Lampert, who is, I think, still a producer at Village Roadshow, I think. And then we started to work as an improv group in nightclubs. So we opened for Maynard Ferguson. We opened for Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons.
Holy
we opened for
shit.
Dolly Parton.
Wow.
We started at...
But doing a
the
completely
bot-
different.
we really did improv for money.
Did they
in
get it?
front of people.
It's just the two of you.
Well, it was 3 with Jeffrey
3.
Lampert.
Okay.
By then, it was 3 of us.
But were they getting it?
Yes,
Fantastic.
we were actually good. And one of the funny things is, so we worked the bottom line, and the Pepper brothers, Alan Pepper, he calls me up, and we're not working there that week, and he goes, "I got an act you have to come see." And I went, "Okay, Alan, we'll come see," because they had really funky rock, and they had country and western, and it was okay, Alan, we'll come.
Like you
So we
didn't know
go
what you
down,
were going
and
to
it's
see.
a
though.
woman at that point. No one knew who she was, named Dolly Parton. And I do a little research. I go, "Oh man, it's a country and western singer. What do we got? Jesus, we got 2 Jews and a wop, and they're going to go see a country western. This is not going to work out well." So we go and we see this woman walk out on stage and blow us away. I have never seen anyone on stage with the warmth and the personality and the
The material doesn't matter. She's got it.
She's got it. And so anyway, And then we worked all the clubs up and down the East Coast. But but then I did all kinds of shows. I did like more than 50 shows in New York. I did Happy Birthday Wanda June at Center Stage in Baltimore before it was rat infested. And, I
Heard about
and
that.
So we were looking we didn't want to keep running around and scrounging around jobs. So I came up with the idea of taking over the Riviera Cafe on Christopher Street and 7th Avenue. It's
Okay.
still there.
Okay.
And we're walking by. We were living in the Village. We're walking by it, and I look in, and there are like windows on the street on 7th Avenue, and there were boxes in back of it. And I turned to Joanne. I go, honey, what's that? Look at that. It's a room with crates, and let's go in and ask the guy if we can use it as a theater. She goes, what are you, fucking nuts?
You just need a black box.
Yeah. So I go in, boom. He goes, yeah, sure. And I negotiate hamburgers and a Coke.
That's
for
what he
us.
gets?
That's what we got.
Boy, you are good. $100, hamburger and a Coke. This is amazing.
It's
Turn
a career.
everything
Yes.
Okay, so
You've got a knack.
we go in and we become a huge hit. This is how we open the show. We're on 7th Avenue. Of course, we got rid of the boxes so people could actually watch us. We start on the other side of 7th Avenue.
Outside?
Outside, in
Okay.
the street,
Okay.
across the street. We'd leave the windows open, and we had about, 60 people. It was a small house. And we'd sing New York, New York, walking across the street through the traffic on 7th Avenue.
This is your entrance.
That's the entrance. And we'd climb in the window and begin the show. Okay, so that's the show's begins. We do the show, did an hour.
This is amazing.
Someone on stage would say, someone kept a clock on this, go, it's time, kids. Oh, okay, sorry. And we had set up a cab to come around at whatever time it was. And so we'd say, folks, it's really, we have another date. We would climb back out the window, the cab would pull in, we'd get into the cab and it would pull away, and that would
And
be the end of
sing.
the show. And we did that for 3 years. Now, Chris Albrecht was up at running the club
No way.
in New York on 44th and 9th Avenue
it is.
because
HBO, yeah.
Oh, okay.
the president was the president of HBO. Bud Friedman only wanted Hollywood, so he left Chris
Improv, Bud Friedman. Okay.
in charge of the New York club. So Chris sends up a note, a missive, and he goes, we heard you're great. Why don't you come down and do the act here? And if you'd like to work for us, we'll do that. We go up. He goes, you guys are great. Blah blah blah. And we audition. Bud comes in. We audition. We get it. So, okay. So now we're regulars at the Improv on 44th and 9th Avenue. A friend of ours, Madeline Kahn, gets to do Young Frankenstein.
Ugh,
And
that's
she
the line.
says, hey, guys, I'm going out to California. Why don't you come out, hang out with me for a week or two? You'll have a vacation. I'll have someone out there to hang out with. Okay. We mentioned it to our agent. He said, what a great idea. I have a co-agent in California. Why don't you drop in, say hello? Maybe
Right the
he'll
whole-
send you out. You'll get a job. You'll pay for the vacation. Great
Take the whole
idea.
trip, sure.
Mike Rosen, Dave Rosen. There was no Schultz then. That's what the agency became. I go in. We talk a little. He goes, you want to go up?
Huh?
For a movie? He said, well, no, this is a television show. It's a pilot. Oh, wow. And I, sitting in his office, become panicked. I go, yeah, sure. I've only done live stage, television and movies. That's a whole other thing.
You can deal with an audience, but all that technical junk.
Yeah, it's all around. Okay. I go to the audition, and it's a setup like this with a desk, and I have to answer a phone, prior to which I have to write a note. Chatter, begin to write the note. Phone rings, reach for the phone with the pencil in my hand, pick up the phone, and the pencil goes up my nose. This is absolutely true. I have the pencil. Thank God it went up. Eraser first.
That's all I wanted to know.
Because, you know, because
I'm
I
actually
wouldn't
being
be
entertained.
I wouldn't be looking at you through my right eye right now.
I was throwing up in my mouth a little bit,
Yeah,
knowing what's
okay.
up there.
Okay, so right.
brains.
Okay, yeah. I'm not quite so sure it's brains. You're talking to me. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I walk out and I am humiliated. I am, by now I was probably 27. I was about 27, 28, and I've been in show business. I mean, I've been in show business a long time, but I've been working for 10 years or 9 years. I go back to the house. We were living with my aunt, and I cry. I cry a lot, and I go.
Us
I
too.
don't believe this. It's how humiliating. What have I done? 300. I put the pencil up my nose. I am quitting show business. My wife is going, Mark, you're going a little overboard. I
Time
go,
to level
no,
up.
I can't. No, I'm not doing this again. This is too painful. The phone rings. Hello. I got the job. And it was a thing called Spencer's Pilot. And Spencer's Pilot was the name of the show.
Sure.
Yeah, it was about a flying school.
Oh, I see.
So it was
wasn't
Spencer.
even the first episode. That just happens to be the name of the guy.
That's
who is
right.
the
That's
yeah,
correct. It was just an episode. It was
Sure.
nothing. I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
didn't even know what an episode was. So
Television.
So I never stopped working. From that point on, we came back. I got Thank God It's Friday, the movie, the star in the movie with Donna Summer and the Commodores. I was the accountant. And then we came back to New York. I had to fly out to shoot the movie, started auditioning again, and my agent says, now it's Michael as my agent. Oh, we're buddies. So I call. So he says, there's a show that Joan Rivers wrote. It's the first hour comedy. I go, oh, Joan Rivers, I know Joan. He goes, you know Joan Rivers? How do you know Joan Rivers? I wait tables when I'm off and I have no work. I'm married. I got to make a living. I wait tables at a place called Pips in Sheepshead Bay, and it's a club where a lot of comics break in
I remember
because
Pips. It's not there anymore, is it?
No,
Yeah.
it's gone.
Long Island, right?
Well, Sheepshead Bay. It's on its way to Long Island.
Okay.
Right next to Joe's Clam Bar.
Okay.
Okay, so
I wouldn't have been to this place. I remember its existence is all I
Okay,
meant.
well,
by
you're
that. Like the
way-
Nassau Coliseum. Not there
Right,
anymore,
well,
but I remember it.
Right. Best friend of Rodney Dangerfield was the owner.
Oh, wow.
So Rodney broke his act in there. Joan broke her
Is
act in
Governor
there.
still on the Governors used to be out there too. I hate to keep
Oh,
interrupting
no,
your
no.
story. but that
Governors
was further
is
out.
further out on the
Okay,
island.
okay.
This isn't really the island. This is still really Brooklyn.
Almost
It's
Queens.
Canarsie.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see. Okay,
It's
sure.
like a little bit, I don't even know, is that south of Canarsie,
Okay.
I think. It's south.
There's
it's
not a whole lot there.
No, it's something. There's a direction of which it is in reference to Canarsie. It's either south, north, east, or west.
It's my fault. That was my speed bump. Please, by all means.
Of Canarsie. Okay, so she and Edgar would come in. We were open Thursday, Friday, and
That's her
Saturday, and that was her husband, right? Every night for months. They'd do the act. They'd go upstairs. George lived above the store, and they rewrite whatever they could. She'd come down, redo it, go up, do it for months. Okay, so I go honing.
Okay.
Changing a word, a
Right.
comma, a
Tightening it.
pause.
But they're working on
tightening
it that whole
Yeah.
time.
for months.
Okay.
So we got to know them. We'd come in early. They'd be there, or whatever. All right. So now I'm sitting in the lobby of CBS, waiting to go in, thinking nothing of Joan Rivers, and in walks Joan Rivers. She passes me right by. Doesn't and it doesn't really. By now it's like, okay, whatever. And she comes back, sticks her head around the corner. She goes, Mark?
Wow.
I go, oh, yeah, hi. Hi, what are you doing here? Well, I'm auditioning for your show. You're an actor? Yeah. You good? I think so. Oh, okay. And then she walks in. Right? They call people in. They call me in.
This guy's in the right place at the right
I
time. I'll tell
do
you that. Holy
I do
shit.
the reading. Silence. Dead silence. My stomach falls through the floor. Oh. She said, could you read, and Hal Dresner is there. There are a whole bunch of people in the room. Could you do the other scene? Yeah. I do the other scene. Dead silence. Dead silence. Nothing. So I go, okay, thank you. I go, thank you.
You're used to working with an audience, too. Getting
There's
nothing
There are
back.
like 8 people.
No
you know,
energy.
7, 8.
No feedback.
I go, thank you. Boom. I walk out. I walk down the hall. As I'm reaching for the door, this is not directed. She sticks her head out the room. You got the show, Mark, and closes the door. And so I was the lover in Husbands, Wives, and Lovers.
Nice.
Nice. And anyway, I didn't stop working for 5 years, 6 years, literally.
Wow.
And then
not only on that show. That show didn't go that long. A bunch of things. Okay.
All kinds of things. You know, I was even going to be at one point co-star with Harvey Korman on the Harvey Korman show, but
Holy shit.
he quit the show before it went on the air. I've had some great opportunities.
You
and
got the
then
last
some
laugh on that
totally. Okay. So anyway,
Harvey Korman from the Carol Burnett Show and everything. So great.
So
great.
husbands, now here is what is called a circuitous show business story. Husbands, Wives, and Lovers does actually very well. We have a 19 rating, which means 19 million people are watching us every week.
In what year is this?
77.
It's still a damn good number.
You know,
deal.
no.
I mean, there's 3 channels and PBS and whatever, but or UHF, but that was still a damn good number.
The cut point was 20, and
Oh.
they dropped us. Okay, they dropped us.
Just under.
Yeah. And David Jacobs sees the show, the man from Dallas, you know, Knots Landing. David Jacobs
He
sees...
was a spelling type of guy, right? Just different shows.
But
But he was one of those
But
mogul
he
guys.
was mogul. He
Yeah.
had 4 of the biggest hits of those years. So he creates a thing called Knots Landing, which is based on Husbands, Wives, and Lovers. It's a cul-de-sac.
I remember
with
the show.
More than one family, blah, blah, blah.
It was
And
Desperate
I have
Housewives.
I have a
Before
stepdaughter.
that, yeah. Okay.
I have a stepdaughter, Claudia Lano, who is now a big writer at NBC Universal. And
She's going to be here, right?
We're getting her back. Yeah.
Okay, great. She was supposed to be here, and I had to have a wisdom tooth pulled, I believe.
Oh,
so
that's
she
my
will. She will be
stepdaughter.
here.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, she was going to be here last week. I think
Sometimes
it'll be
not so nice, but usually nice. You have to be very careful. So
Where you
tread lightly.
So anyway, okay, so my agent says, would Claudia like to go up to do this show? It's an audition, and they're looking for Michelle Lee's daughter, you know, and she's got to be 14.
Michelle, the actor from
the actress.
Herbie Lovebug and everything.
Yeah,
No kidding.
She's, you know, I don't know. We'll talk to her. I'll talk to her. So now we sit her down because Claudia, we were itinerant actors. We had no money, and we had this daughter, and we had no babysitter. Couldn't afford babies. She would come with us, and this is a little girl who we would walk into a club with off the wall, sit her down backstage,
Yeah.
talk to the techies, and go, she will give you the light cue. When she says blackout, you black it out.
How old was
She's
she
part of
then?
the
She
team.
was at, oh no, this was before she was 14. We didn't,
Yeah.
she wasn't in Hollywood yet. She was 10,
She's good.
11, 9, you know, in those
This
years.
is the vaudeville rules. Like everybody's part of the
Yeah.
show.
And so, you know, these guys looking, yeah, right. And one night, we're actually on stage, and either Joanne or I come out with a killer line. The audience goes nuts. And I hear Claudia go, blackout. You know, very quietly,
That's right. Showmanship. She
And-
knows showmanship.
and nothing. She goes, blackout. And nothing. And she goes, blackout. I said, black. This is an 11-year-old, actually. She said, blackout. I said, blackout. Boom. The guy never missed a blackout, you know, boom. Okay.
After that.
So that's the little girl. So we sit her down. Now, Claudia, Michael would like to send you up for some shows. But you have to know this is show business, and you're going to get rejected. You're not going to get all the shot. You may get 1 or 2, but you're not. But they're not rejecting you as a person, right? You're not right. You're not too tall, too old.
saw that you talked to her.
Okay. She got the first 4
Yeah.
shows she got, of which she was Michelle Lee's daughter for the next 7 years.
Wow.
The bitterness that Joanne and I held
smokes.
for this little girl. We worked our asses off, and she walked in, hi. And her first show was, what was it? She did a musical with Mary Tyler Moore. It was a musical where she played the niece. She played Mary Tyler Moore's niece who ran away to be in show business. I mean, really, like these incredible jobs. Okay, so that was it. So wait, there was a purpose for this story.
I think the whole thing is amazing. I'm just going along for the ride.
Okay, so so I know where I was going. So anyway, he puts Knots Landing on.
Oh, that's right.
He puts on Dallas, and all the ethnics on TV go away, and my constant work disappears. I am now jobless. Now, my wife had become a stand-up comic because Off the Wall broke up. I moved to California. I didn't move to California, but I started working. We had to move to California with Claudia, blah, blah, blah. No work for me. Wife working.
But only because Falcon Crest all of us. I mean,
and Knots Landing.
and
Well,
not all of a
Dallas
sudden
and
whitewashed the.
all of those ethnic shows went away.
This is when I discovered television at this time, late 70s.
Right.
So this is like, I did not know this. This is just what I thought was the time.
Right. There are no Jews on Dynasty. Just let's be
No,
honest.
I get it.
You got-
But I'm saying that me, naive, didn't notice.
Well, no, but a lot of people don't. If you're in the business, you go, okay.
Right, later on.
Here comes the blonde,
I
blue-eyed
thought it was just
people.
the time. I didn't realize that they whitewashed it at that point.
No,
anyway,
because they all copy whatever's going, so now they're not doing.
But in my mind, I grew up with Benson and you know what I
yeah,
mean, things like
well,
that.
that was later.
It was later.
That
it was
was
the 80s,
later.
You're
That
right.
was the 80s.
Well,
So
Sanford
this kind
and
of
Son-
set the
Sanford and
tone
Son
for
was 70s?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's
Okay.
a sitcom. That's a different type of thing.
It might maybe one
Different,
or
yeah,
two, but
yeah.
believe me, there was
To meet
The
the quota at
landscape
the
is
time,
white.
sure.
yeah, the landscape is white.
Wow.
So
Okay.
so I have nothing. Okay. Bud, my later partner in the Improv,
Friedman.
gets a divorce, gives the New York club to his wife. Chris Albrecht manages the New York club. Chris Albrecht is a friend. Chris Albrecht can't get along with Silver.
Ah.
Walks out, just packs up, goodbye, over. I'm not there. Calls me and says, Bud's having trouble keeping the doors open. Let's buy him out. Holy, really? Are you kidding? Yeah, okay. I need a job.
The New York Improv.
I need a job. No, Hollywood Improv. Silver has the New York Improv.
Holy smokes.
The New York Improv.
So that's
is-
done. She's
the
got
New York
that. and
Improv
he's
is
having-
keeping the Hollywood
Got it.
Improv
Got
open
it.
because the money is flowing.
Got it.
She gets the New York money stops, but
Right.
LA takes off.
L.A.
No.
L.A.
No?
didn't take off.
Oh.
No, that's why they can get it.
Oh.
That's why we can get it.
Oh,
He's in
Our
trouble.
history lessons are a little bit.
I'm off. Sorry
Yeah,
about
so-
that.
we both were.
So we start negotiating with Bud. I mean, a long negotiation. I have the letter of inducement, the letter of inducement for Bud,
Previous to
September 1979. I have it with the dates because later on Bud tried to fudge the dates of when I became part
That's
of
what happens.
it. And he sidles up to me one day at the bar and he says, I don't want to sell. I went, really? Geez, what would make you think that? We've been negotiating 6 months, 8 months. I mean, it's a forever thing. He says, and I've had Chris as my partner. I don't really want him anymore, but I'd like you as my partner.
Oh.
Oh, hello. Yeah, okay. Let me check with
Somehow
Chris.
you're still in.
Well, I was still in because I was really naive. And I think he saw someone where he could control the situation and blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Mm.
I go to Chris. Chris says to do it. Chris then becomes an agent and then a manager and then president of HBO. And I buy half the club, 40% of the club. And then I realize, oh, this is in trouble. Oh, and I begin to. Then it's 24/7, 7 days a week. First 5 years didn't take a vacation.
Yeah.
7 days a week.
Start a
And-
new business.
Yes, but then we got the evening at the Improv on the air, and the.
Did you have something to do with that? Because
Yeah,
that's part of what got me into being a fan of comedy was watching all of those shows from A&E, from the evening at the Improv
The
to
first 52 had sketches up front where Dice Clay was the doorman. Do you
I remember some of this stuff.
I was the director of those sketches.
No shit.
For the
It was
first-
almost like the SNL film unit. It was
That-
separate
that's,
from the.
That's exactly right. I don't remember if we ran the whole 52, but we did a whole hunk of them, and so I was the director.
Wow.
But that's not really what made. That is what brought the club's name to the attention of the United States. It was like one day you went to sleep and woke up the next day and the world fell in love with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
It
that
wasn't there, then it was.
Then it was,
Yeah,
right.
I had the same
We
feeling.
were like this little niche art form called stand-up comedy that like 20 people knew about, and then we did the show. And we went from one show a night with sometimes guests, Joan Rivers being one of them on Wednesday nights, to keep the doors open, to 3 shows a night, 7 nights a week, 250 people each show. It went
That's bananas.
bonkers.
That's amazing.
And my Joanne, now I'm at the club literally all the time.
All the time.
And Saturday night, between second and third show, 250 people exiting, 250 people coming in. I am now directing traffic and trying to keep riots from happening. And she goes, Mark, we have to have a talk. I go, now? Now you need to have a talk with me? Are you kidding? Our relationship, I don't see you anymore. Joanne, not now.
Yep.
Later. I don't know if I can wait later. Later. I don't. There are a lot of
Something very
people.
familiar about all this.
There are a lot of people around me right now. Joanne, go away. Okay, but I'm coming back.
Oh my God. Been there.
And that's absolutely true. But we did just celebrate our 50th wedding anniversary. That's pretty
something.
cool.
That's
you
a
know
major
how we
deal.
did that? We don't talk to each other.
Yeah, well
I saw
done.
your
50
comedy
years.
together. That was spectacular.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's how I became owner of the Improv.
Wow. Holy smokes.
And last night I tried to break, and I started to break in a stand-up act. I died. I forgot how hard it is.
Are you still part owner of Improv?
No, we sold to Irving Azoff a year ago, February? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A year ago,
Wait,
February.
So does Bud not own it anymore? Either?
No. Oh, no, Bud, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Bud does not own it anymore. No, well, Bud had a stroke.
Yeah, well,
So-
it was, yeah.
So anyway,
Things get reshuffled. I understand that.
yeah, and I was there 38 years, 39 years, and it was time.
Well, It's probably a good time to sell it. I mean,
Without question. Well,
when I look at what that place is now,
we
2
sold
rooms and the whole
26 clubs. It wasn't just Melrose.
Oh, the
The
whole
whole-
Improv chain.
We sold the chain.
I
yeah.
didn't
Nice.
realize that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that you were a participant in the whole chain. I didn't realize it was structured
No,
that way.
no. I was a partner. You wouldn't know it if you talked to my partner, but I was a partner. The first night I'm there, he introduced me as his manager. And I just went,
Oh,
Jack,
my.
I'd like you to meet my new manager.
So I did the same
And
thing.
I-
And that
I-
wasn't intentional.
You did this.
When I called you a participant versus partner,
Oh, yeah,
that wasn't
participant.
intentional.
Oh, I don't really care, to be honest with you.
he's
'cause
like, I was a 40%
because-
participant.
Yes, that's right. 40% participant. That's a nice participant.
This is a nice piece.
It's a nice hunk.
piece.
So anyway, yeah. I mean, there were so many ins and outs of that relationship,
That's it. You must have seen so many people, though. 38 years over there?
Yeah, pretty much every comic. There was a time, which is really amazing, there was a time that pretty close to every working comic in the United States started at our club. That is really amazing. I mean,
It almost doesn't seem
everyone.
possible.
It
with
almost doesn't
other-
seem. There were a few who didn't start, but then did later. Like Carlin didn't start at the club. He was doing, but he came into work,
Sure.
and the reason was when Bud opened the club, it was on 44th and 9th Avenue, And it was really not a comics room. It was for singers who were on Broadway, because Silver was a Broadway dancer. And she wouldn't marry him, so the story goes, because he didn't have a way to make a living. And she said, if we're going to get married and have kids, you got to be able to bring money in. And she found this Vietnamese restaurant on 44th and 9th Avenue, 3 hookers from the corner of 9th Avenue. It was very close. And he opened this club where they would just come in at night. It wasn't open for lunch or anything. It opened at 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Hence the
You come in
nightclub.
it was a nightclub, and you'd have coffee and cake. He'd buy the coffee and the cake from Smiler's, which is a 7-Eleven of New York. You know, it wasn't. We're not talking about a moneymaker.
Understood.
But
Understood.
the people who came in were Judy Garland, Liza Minnelli, Robert Klein. Anybody on Broadway would come in, and they would come in. Dickcavett. Not
great.
comics, but mostly singers, or they'd be doing a show on Broadway. They'd stop in. And one night, a comic.
Dickcavett, known for his falsetto.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, really. So intellectuals as well.
Oh, yeah. But one night, a comic comes in. And, you know, Bud, he just let people go up. It wasn't like, oh, you're good enough, you're not good enough. It was just, if you're on Broadway, you go up, whatever. And the guy says, would you mind if I go up? Are you doing a Broadway show? No, I'm not. I'm just... And I don't remember the name of the guy. But he goes up, and he kills. Not a big deal. Next day, Bud comes to open the club, like at 4 in the afternoon. There's a line of 50 comics outside, waiting. And he's like, what are you doing here? Well, our friend, said that you let comics go on stage.
Everyone's looking for stage
He
time.
goes, oh, well, okay. So he now starts making a schedule, but he doesn't want to get rid of the business he already has. So it was like 4 singers and a comic, 4 singers and a comic. But the comics kept coming. So then it was 3 singers and a comic, then 2 singers and a
Two
comic
comics,
singer,
yeah.
then 2 comics
Yep.
and a singer, then 5 comics and 1.
Wow. And that was the turnover, and that's how it
But
started.
when they first started, when he first started, it was like the piano player was Dustin Hoffman.
Oh, my
No
God.
way.
The guy, oh yeah, the
Holy
guy,
cow.
Al Pacino, I believe, painted the ceiling black.
Can you believe it?
You know,
The shortest guy.
yeah, absolutely. No, these humongous stars.
Yeah.
But they were just hung out. They were just kids hanging out at the club, doing
Passing
with
time.
and passing time, and that's really what they.
magic.
It was magic. Then I got to know Bud. But anyway.
All right. Well, my whole background is around this stuff. I celebrate all of it. It's not just Letterman. It's Johnny Carson. It's Dick Cavett. It's everybody. Merv Griffin. I can't. All the names. Mike
Well,
Douglas.
Carson used to come into the club.
Johnny Carson. Obviously, we've got nods to Johnny all over the place here.
Yes, absolutely.
Massive fan and of that whole genre. You were in the same business when everybody was going to, I guess, Comedy Store was the one they'd probably go to try to get on Carson.
Well,
is that true?
That's how it happened. Yeah, so we're in New York. Not me.
Okay.
Bud is in New York. Carson moves to Hollywood. But
Yeah,
Bud
72.
always wants to move to Hollywood. Carson moves to Hollywood. There are no comedy clubs. There are no real clubs. Ice House was here, but the store.
And it's so far from town at the time.
The Ice House?
At the time,
forever, yeah. So Sammy, who was the original owner, has this little club next to Ciro's. I believe it was Ciro's, right? That's the main room.
Yes.
Now the main room was
I
Ciro's.
believe so, yes.
Okay. And he gets divorced and gives it to Mitzy. In the divorce, Carson moves, and she was a very good business lady. And she starts putting comics up, and now she's feeding comics to Carson, and of course the name grows and
She
grows.
became the assembly line,
and
right?
she became the feeder. Bud comes out, he begins, because he has all the people coming out too. There becomes a war between the two of them, but now I don't know if this story is true, but it's a phenomenal story, even if it's not true.
Lay it on us.
Okay, so the bar for the Comedy Store and Ciro's is in the back of the Comedy Store, in behind the hallway that takes you into the main room now.
Okay.
and there's a door between the two.
You're not talking about the comics bar or whatever. Is that what you mean?
Well, now it's the comics.
Okay,
bar,
then I know where you're talking about,
Okay,
yes.
there's the men's room is to the right. If you're looking
Yes.
at the wall, the entrance to the bar is right there, and then you go into Ciro's.
Yes.
There's a door between the two. And she's talking to, it's not Arthur Lugoff. I don't remember who the guy who owns Ciro's. Arthur Lugoff is in New York. Anyway, she says, I'd like the bar, but I'm not selling. Well, you got to give me. And one Friday night, she locks the door between the two clubs. And he can't.
She did not.
Well, that's why I don't know if it's a real story, but I think it is.
That's
I've heard this
hilarious.
story too.
You've heard the story?
Yes.
And he can't
Wow.
serve drinks. And she says, sue me.
Love her.
She had the liquor license
She-
and the bar.
That's right, and the bar.
Yep.
And he
Love
didn't
that
even have
lady.
entrance.
Right.
She just locked the
And
door.
who's going to buy a steak and entertainment without booze?
Absolutely. You don't make money anyway on a steak. You make $2. You can't. It's not going to happen.
Exactly.
And
Wow.
he sold to her very quickly.
I heard that too a long, long time ago, and it's one of those
Yeah.
like whether it's lore or not, it's fantastic.
It's a fantastic story,
yeah,
right?
it's
Yeah,
great.
and then she was it. And then there was a war between the two of us, and the two of us.
the clubs.
I wasn't a member.
two
of
clubs.
because I was one of the people who organized the strike against the Comedy Store. This is long before I even thought of owning a nightclub. I was an actor. My wife was the comic, and if you ever have my wife on, she'll tell you the story of the strike. And my family were union organizers, so I put the picket line together that ran for 7 weeks, 24 hours a day.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. Yes.
It's in your blood.
Yeah.
That's right.
And you know how it ended? So
All right, we'll pay you.
I'm telling Dreeson.
Tom
you know,
Dreeson?
Yeah, because he was, and Jay, all these, how to kind of handle it from a
Politically, you mean?
from a political, but from a union organizing point of view. And at that point,
Oh,
it
how
was
they- I see.
AFTRA was having their national meeting at the Roosevelt Hotel. So I go, guys, go and get authorized by AFTRA, and then the picket line becomes sanctioned by the federal government. How do we do that? We'll just set up a meeting. You'll go to one of their meetings, you'll make speeches, and they'll vote. Now, there was a reason we couldn't do it because we fell under AGVA, American Guild of Variety Artists. But AGVA has literally no weight. So...
AFTRA wasn't that far ahead back then.
Yeah.
Compared to SAG.
Yeah, well, SAG was it. So we go. Now, you have to understand, there's 250 union representatives, organizers. So it's me, it's Dreeson.
That is important to realize.
That's who we're talking
Not the picketers, the organizers.
of the union,
Yeah.
of the national union.
Yeah, yeah.
And major stars, anybody who was on television. If they were a rep, they were there. Okay. So Biff Maynard, Argus Hamilton, wasn't Ollie Joe Prater. There was another one of them. There was me, Dreeson, Joanne, George Miller, the comic.
I love George Miller. He was great.
Okay, so when we rep the comics. All right, so we're sitting there. Biff Maynard gets up at the beginning. He's the first one to talk. And this is what he says. 250 union organizers. He goes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having us here. But we have to really understand that stand-up comics aren't workers. They don't really have, or should they have, the rights that a regular worker has. And in the audience, you hear death and then an intake of oxygen so that no one faints. Did he just say that? Okay, so I turn to Dreeson and I say, we just won. And Biff, as it goes on, knows.
Because he's got his foot in his mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so that's how
in
you
his
won.
mouth.
Yes,
It's
yes.
in his mouth. It's coming out his
Yes,
ass.
I'm with you.
He can't get out of this one.
I'm with you.
He comes off the stage. He is pale. Okay, so we go through all the speeches, and and we're out. We're now leaving. I run down. I say, I'm going to run back to the picket line and tell everybody what just happened. They haven't yet voted or anything. I don't know what's going to happen, but I kind of know because we wound up not getting it because they couldn't. They couldn't authorize us. Anyway, I run back, and there's Jay. I park the car. I get out.
Jay Leno, we're talking about?
Yeah, Jay
Okay.
Leno. Sorry.
No, I'm
And
just making sure for everyone else.
He's standing in the driveway. You know that little driveway that goes back to the parking lot in
Where
the
the
back?
comics park, yeah.
Where the yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes, what happened? What happened, Mark? What happened? What happened? Jay, you're not going to believe this. And as I'm explaining what just happened, I hear a car behind me. And Jay goes, Mark, Biff is behind you. He's getting his car. I go, okay. He says, just let's not move. Let's just stand here and bust his balls a little bit. Okay, Jay, okay. And he guns the car at us. He did not want to hit us. He did not, but he did gun the car at us. And literally, Jay and I step to the side. He goes by us, and I hear, and Jay falls to the ground. Oh, my God. David runs over. Dreeson, by now, is parked, comes over. Joanne, everybody. Jay, are you okay? Are you okay? And Jay goes, yeah, I'm just fucking with him. Right? He slapped the side of the car.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
slaps.
Saw that coming. Also, the personality.
There is
that's
a
the type of thing he
law.
would do.
There is a law from 1932 or 33
I know what you're going to say.
that if you hit, hurt, or kill a picketer, you can be sued for your business. Mitzy knew that. I don't think it was 5 minutes.
On
You
the
had
phone,
to run
right?
all the way up, physically in front of us. Someone comes down, leans over to Dreeson and to Letterman. Mitzy wants to talk to you. And within a half hour, the strike was over.
Yeah, because you had the incident, you had the corroborative witnesses,
Oh,
and then all of a sudden, that's it.
It was nothing. You
Yeah.
know, it was, So that was it, and we won.
Makes me
we
put a
won
little
this.
more credence into that bar story, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know
no,
what I
no.
mean? It's just like
Mitzi-
one of those. She was so good at. Well, you said it best. She was a very good businesswoman.
She was a very good businesswoman. If you get my wife on, she'll tell you what she really was.
You get your wife on. Let's get his wife on. Holy cow!
Yeah, I would love for Joanne to come on.
Yeah, she
Say
yeah.
that on TV.
Yeah. So anyway, those.
I mean, we're already well over the time, and I could. I mean, I didn't even get to ask you questions because I'm just sitting here absolutely loving every second of it. Would you come back sometime? Would you please have your wife come back sometime? There's so much more I want to get to.
If
You're
I come
familiar to
early,
me-
do I have to walk to?
No, we'll be ready early for you. You can come anytime.
Okay.
Your face is so familiar because of The Wedding Singer.
Yes, I
Of
was
course,
the
The Wedding
father of
Singer.
the bride on The Wedding Singer.
Well, and memorable experience, memorable
Yes,
scene.
yes, it was a memorable scene. Yes, there are a lot of things I did. I was an actor once.
I know. I don't see all the stuff. I don't see all the stuff. So
I don't
every
see
once in a while,
myself.
there's something that triggers. I remember when that movie came out. I thought it was hysterical.
Yeah.
Do you remember that experience from that movie?
Oh yeah, sure.
I can't remember if my friend either or somebody I know either wrote it or he was just in it. But
Who?
Steve, and this is where I'm drawing a total blank.
Well,
Brill, Steve Brill.
Oh, bro.
Well,
Brill's
yeah.
in it for sure. I don't know if
Yeah.
he wrote or directed that
no,
one. I'm not sure.
no. Director. Oh, gee, I don't remember.
But he was
who directed it.
definitely in it. I know that. He was in
Okay.
a bunch of those.
Yeah, but only I got it because Adam worked the club, and
Is that true? He
Oh,
knew.
yeah.
So you like the Joan Rivers one?
He only
you got it
he
from
just
that?
called me. He said, "You want to do the movie?" I didn't even
Not bad.
audition for that. He said, "You want to do the movie? What is it? The Wedding Singer. You'll be the father of the bride." Okay, show up Friday, 8:00. That was it. Yeah, I didn't audition for that. Adam just gave it to me.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I asked him to have it as an ongoing character in all his movies, but he turned me down.
Bummer. You could work that in.
I know.
Here's this guy again. Please come back sometime.
You got it.
I didn't really get there, and I just sort of sat here like a fan. I hope that's all right.
That's okay.
I'm such a fan of comedy. Hearing these stories from before my time, it's one of the reasons I do this. You know, I feel very lucky.
I could tell you stories about Rodney and George and.
I want to
you know,
hear
the-
anything and everything because these are the guys I saluted. I met Rodney before he passed away, and he was not great, and it was one of the greatest
Yeah,
nights of my life because I got to meet Rodney. You know what I mean?
I used to smoke with Rodney.
What smoke? what?
Camels.
Oh, I see.
Camels.
Well, Rodney, we can say this now that he's gone. He used to smoke a lot of pot.
A
Did you
lot
know
of
that?
pot?
Did you know
No, did he really? He used to
didn't know
come
that.
into the club Constantly.
What? Are you kidding?
I was so naive. I'm really blind.
Oh no,
Oh.
but he would come into the club, not a joke, in a bathrobe, boxer shorts,
You were
A
lucky
wh-
you got boxer
a
shorts.
white T-shirt and slippers, and an Evian bottle in his pocket, but there was not. It wasn't
Right.
water.
Right.
Oh man.
I heard quite a few stories where
Yeah.
there were no boxer shorts. Same robe, same story.
Oh,
and
yeah,
just
I'm
everything
sure
was
that's
hanging
true,
out.
but
And it
he'd
was
come
just-
into the-
It was almost
he
like he
didn't-
would fuck with you, like waiting for
he'd-
you to notice.
Yeah, he'd come into the club. Well, if we're over, because I have all these stories that maybe I should save it for the next time.
Well, tell this one Rodney one, and then we'll get to the.
Well, no, I
others.
was going to go into Roseanne and Tom Arnold.
Beautiful. Next time. Oh my gosh, fantastic. Mark Lano.
Yes. Ooh, good. Look at that, Ryan. Finally.
You know, it's just Jay. Ryan's my last name.
I
figured since we'll get to that whole
I
thing.
figured
Oh, I
that
see.
was, but Jay is so common.
Oh, I know. Mark Lano, thank you so much for being here
Well,
today.
thank
We
you.
really,
This was
really
fun.
appreciate it. Mrs. Ryan, what do we have? Oh, you know what? Are you on social media at all or anything like that? How would people
Yeah.
follow you if they wanted to?
Well, I do a lot of very political stuff on Facebook.
Okay.
Obviously,
All of our.
on
That
the-
seems like all of my comic friends do. Do you know Rick Overton?
do I know? Okay, let me go back to the beginning.
How many years in this
worked
business?
off the wall for many years at the Improv in New York when Rick Overton was. I don't know if you know this. Overton and Sullivan. Do you remember them?
No.
They were a double act, Overton and Sullivan,
No.
at the Improv in New York.
I didn't know that.
Who was the Sullivan?
Obviously, an Irish guy.
Obviously.
That
Nobody
was
knows.
his partner, Rick and
Yeah, I put that much together. We
I don't remember Dan Sullivan. I don't remember what his first name was, but it was Overton and Sullivan.
each and every one of your stories from both the Improv and the Comedy Store that we were just exhibiting here
Right.
made me think of the television show I'm Dying Up Here. Did you see
Well,
that?
that
The
was-
Showtime
yeah,
show?
but that's
now it's
not-
a loose telling, of course.
Very loose telling.
But
We had
Rick
a lot
Overton
more fun.
Plays the Jim Mulcahy. What's his name? The Tonight Show. Jim Macaulay character.
Oh, a diving buddy of mine. We used to
Jim
scuba
Macaulay?
dive. Jim Macaulay, yeah. I have a funny story with Jim in the Ventura. I don't even know what they call it. Where you can't fish.
Oh,
There's
the old
an
Ventura can't fish.
Yeah, there's an area in the ocean you can't fish. It's like
Oh.
a reserve.
Okay, I didn't know.
And
that.
it's off of
By the Channel Islands up there. or
yeah,
something?
yeah. And we would. These
I
are
bet
all
it's because of
stories.
the bases and everything, right? Because Point Wanimi is all there,
No,
and
I
Point
think
Magoo.
they're just trying to keep the kelp
Okay.
forests going and the fish.
Ecology
we,
and all.
We go down. We're not out on the ocean 15 minutes. In gear, boop, in the water. There's a small fish, and then there's this very large fish. We're scuba diving, we're spearfishing. I go for the little fish, I get him, and the little fish goes to the left. Jim, I don't see the big fish. Jim goes for the big fish, gets him. It goes to the right. They go around us. We are now
Snarled up, right?
snarled up with these fish. We get up to the top. Now we have to get these fish in the boat. The little fish, you pick in, no big deal. The big fish took us 20 minutes to get out of the water. I would say two Jews, but Jim wasn't Jewish. And we can't get this fucking
Was it
fish.
bluefish or a tuna or
It
something?
was, no, I think it was a cod. I don't really know,
Gee
a
whiz.
flounder or something. It was huge.
grief.
It was so big. There were photos of it. It came up to almost to my chest.
Oh my gosh.
We fed people at the club for weeks on that fish. And then we
I
get
bet
it.
if it was a cod, sure.
Yeah.
Fish and chips for a month.
Absolutely. So, okay, we get in. We are exhausted. We were going to spend the whole day diving. We're there 45 minutes tops from in the water to out of the water. Jim looks and he goes, "Oh my God, we're over the line.
Oh shit.
Let's get out of here because we can't get." That fish was that big because no one was supposed to fish.
Right. He grew that old.
He grew that
in
old.
spot.
And we hightailed it out of there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Poachers.
Had a lot of fun with it. We had
That's a
lot.
good story.
It's a good story. We were poachers. That's right.
All right, you said Facebook is the best place to get a hold of you on social media? If somebody wants to
Facebook.
follow you?
Absolutely. Mark Lonow. Very easy. LONOW.
Easy, Mrs. Ryan.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's easy. All right, tomorrow, Mrs. Ryan, who do we have?
Jen.
Oh, my gosh, it's the end of the week already. All right, tomorrow is Thursday, and we've got G.I. Jen from Porsche.
Cannot wait to see you.
I know, same here. The Porsche Experience Center, if you've ever been there in Los Angeles, down in Carson, I guess, right off the 405 there. She's the one who runs it, basically. She's, I don't know, she's very interesting. She's very awesome. She's a good friend of ours and a very big mark in the Porsche industry. So we could have her in here. Mrs. Ryan, that's it, right?
That's it as far as I know.
I love you very, very much. Mark Lonow, we love you very, very much.
You guys are great.
Thank you very
And
much
a lot
for being
of fun.
here.
You actually shut up most of the time. I was very impressed.
We love everyone at home. Thank you very, very much for watching. This guy got me. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.